Growing up in Canada, there was really, nothing that you saw as far as being a woman or female or young girl that told you there might be an opportunity for you. And, to get a scholarship to go to the University of Oklahoma, I think was really transcendent for me, but I still didn't really understand. Ironically, the year I went to Oklahoma, as a young 17-year-old, it was 1997, which was the very season the first WNBA, the inaugural WNBA season, took flight. I saw Lisa Leslie and Rebecca Lobo and Cheryl Swoops and thought, maybe there's a chance when this college thing's done that I could do that. I was very fortunate it came to fruition, and I ended up in the WNBA and was able to enjoy, for the time that I played, a pretty decent pro career. After my first season in the WNBA, with the Washington Mystics, I got a phone call from some folks at ESPN, and they were auditioning several women in the game, coaches and players, to fulfill a spot at the desk as a studio analyst, as a women's basketball analyst to cover the NCAA tournament that was really starting to take off. And I went in for an audition and it went really well. And they called me back for a second audition. And amongst all of the other people that were auditioning, I was so fortunate to get that job. It was literally the first year out of my rookie season in the WNBA. And I was just, I think, 22 years old. And that's really where my TV journey started. And I ended up having a really vast career at ESPN for almost 8 years. And I'm just so grateful for it because, to go from talking about women's hoops to talking about men's hoops to reporting on a plethora of different things at that company, including college football, I was able to sort of dip my cone in a few areas, if you will. And I think it really was a launching point in my career. I think there's always challenges for any minority when you are embarking upon a huge venture, like the television industry as a female, a young female in your 20s. I've now been so really fortunate to be in this industry for almost, 23 years or so. So I'll just say a couple decades plus. And you go through the first decade and it's really challenging. You're trying to navigate those waters. They can be super calm and they can be super rocky. As a young woman in the industry, there were challenges in getting accepted and being trusted with my information and getting the green light to go do this or that. And so I think you go through those challenges, but through every challenge and adversity, there is incredible growth. There is power in, I won't call it struggle, but power in challenges and overcoming challenges and coming through them. And I used to say to my college coach, Sherry Cole, at times, different times throughout my career over the last 23 years, I'm surviving or I survived this or that. And she always has reminded me, you're thriving. When you go through challenges, you thrive because you have to come out on the other side of it the right way if you approach it the right way. The biggest piece of advice I would give to my younger self, don't be so hard on yourself because you are going to go through learning periods and find out who you are every step of the way and really understand that identity is an evolution. I think if you understand the time, whatever that time may be, and you don't sit and stare at the clock and think, is this going to be over? When is it going to be over? I don't want this to end. I think you just naturally immerse yourself in the process. If I knew that in my 20s, maybe you enjoy a few things a little bit more or don't put so much pressure on yourself. And, over the course of a couple decades, you do evolve, you do change. And I really think you work into the best version of yourself. And that is always the goal, to become that.